So thanks for joining me, and can I just apologise in advance because I don't intend to do any editing to this video. Now, I've got something just to share with you this evening, and it is about our art form, as in being able to practice. Because let's face it, every drummer I've ever come into contact with loves to practice their instrument. But as we know, the acoustic drum set can be rather loud, and although we might be very passionate, have great enthusiasm and wish to practice ours on end, we can't really do that, can we? Because we hit a barrier, and that barrier tends to be noise. Okay, so it tends to be a drain on like our neighbours, even our families, okay, and people around us. Okay, so they don't share necessarily the same passion as we do, or the same enthusiasm as we do, because let's face it, that noise can be rather tiring and draining. Okay, so I've got to appreciate that over the years. So I've been playing a fair period of time. In fact, I started when I was 17, and I actually used to come to this very room to my drum lessons with the late great Bob Armstrong. And back then day, there used to be an acoustic sonar kit set up in this very spot, so I used to be able to play a live setup then on my lesson, and that was it. And apart from that, once I've been playing a while, I started doing the odd gig here and now, and that was the only other time, and at the rehearsal. So there weren't a lot of opportunity, just like the probably is for you, to actually play our live instrument. So how did I practice? I guess the same way as you are. So I used to have practice pads, as in rubber pads. I used to play on the bed, on the sofa, on floors, you name it, anything other than a live kit. As I said, that was merely just either at a lesson, at the rehearsal, or on the occasional gig. Okay, so it's not too dissimilar to how things are now with the COVID situation, as in gigs I know are very few and far between, and I know a lot of people aren't even doing their rehearsals anymore of their bands and things. Okay, so it's all got to the stage now where the only way we can play is to practice more at home. So what are the options? Okay, as I've already said, there are those pads, and then we have setups like this. Okay, so an electronic setup, and this particular kit is a Roland kit, and in fact I've had loads and loads of electronic kits starting back when I used to come here, actually in the mid 80s it would have been. I invested in a Roland kit. That would have been a Roland SDS 800 at the time, and then over the years I think I've been through pretty much every low-end kits that Roland produced, right up to now to the TD50, which is where I'm currently at. Okay, now pros and cons. Let's talk about pros and cons. I'll give you some demonstrations as well, so you can see how loud these things are. Number one is, this is a flagship kit. Now it's got a full size now, which is nice, as in 14. The actual pads, these are mesh heads by the way, so the closest things to the actual an acoustic head, the closest things. This is 3-ply, so in terms of bands, it feels and behaves pretty much as a normal head would be. Okay, these are double-ply. Okay, Roland make these for not Roland, Remo make these for Roland. Okay, and yet again, they don't throw out an awful lot of noise, okay, but they feel pretty realistic. In terms of bands, they're not too springy at all by any means, because they're double ply. This is treble ply, so you do have to work at the head. All tunable, okay. But the main pro is obviously I can play any time of day. I'm not going to annoy anyone. I can have it through an amplifier. So, and what I can actually do is audition numerous drum sets, okay, which, to be honest, the ones which come in the module are okay, but once you actually start editing those kits and applying effects and things, they begin to actually come alive. Okay, the actual standard 50 kits on these modules aren't brilliant, but so you have to edit the kits, okay, and anyone who's got one of these units would know that, okay, one of these modules. So in terms of noise, let's just give you a demonstration to how noisy they are. They are not noisy at all. So I'm just going to, okay, and not noisy, as in I'm not obviously shouting when I'm playing, and they're the closest thing. But the main disadvantage is the sizes. The sizes aren't actually the real thing, unlike the Alesis, but they don't feel particularly good. Okay, so for example, 14, 10s, and these are 12s. And we do a standard size kick, okay, but I've chosen just to go for a conventional pad, just purely because of space. Okay, so these are pretty as big as the pads, other than that particular Alesis kit I mentioned earlier. Most of the pads tend to be 8 or 10 inches, which is nothing wrong with that. But the main thing is as in being able to get around the kit. It's not the same as an acoustic kit. Okay, so if they're very small, the muscle memory and things becomes a little bit different. Having said that, they do give you or allow you to actually zone in on your skills. Okay, so things like accuracy, okay, aiming for the centre of drum things. As I said, auditioning different sounds, as in different drum sets. For example, within the module, I can play along to click, I can play along to tracks, I can record, so you can actually record yourself. Okay, and I've done a lot of recording recently, so can't beat it. On the other hand, this is something now which I've just got recently, which I never had before. I'm just going to turn this around and adjust so you can see. So I've got myself some silent strokes, and the reason I got these was purely because I'm going to do a video shoot and I needed something quiet in the kit. And I've never had these before. To be honest now, they've been out for several years. These are just single ply. Okay, so they do, Roland do, these are called silent strokes and they're single ply. Unlike the Roland heads on the V drum, they are springy. Okay, they're springier. Okay. Now, first off, I'm just going to play. I've left this tom here, sounds without the silent stroke. Very loud. Okay, very loud. Okay, in fact, that's awful. Okay, so very loud. Okay, now with the silent strokes on. So you can hear they're very quiet. I've not even tuned them, but okay, they can be tuned. Now, if they're not loud enough, you can make them louder just by, for example, applying tape. Let's just give you a demonstration. So, because these are covered in lots of little holes, so if you want to add acoustic cymbals to this, you can. Okay, but I'm going to kick now. Just keep playing 6-stroke roll, don't know why. I can hear that's louder, just some gaffer. Yeah, so fine for a single, and I've got them tuned, they're loose really. So okay, so just gives you an idea. So the pros of these, number one is we're at the regular size. You can see me now. We're at the regular size of heads. Okay, so I've got my my 14 on this now, the 12-inch there I was playing, a 16 now. And a 22 kick. They actually feel really good, and as you can see, if I want them louder, if I want them to be a bit louder, a little bit take, they come alive. Okay, I want to actually get some Zildjian L80s to go with this, the low volume cymbals. So I've tried regular cymbals, either muted down. In my opinion, I think they're too loud. I've got a fair few cymbals to go through and choose. I've even tried them stacked up, just a bit loud. And from looking at some different videos, the L80s seem the way to go. So I'm going to invest in some of those. So hopefully this gives you an insight. So the plus to these, I will say, is number one, if I'm playing along some music, which I can do, okay, on these still, I don't have to have the music up anywhere near as if I were playing along my Roland kit, along to the music through loudspeakers. Now I've not got to play through loudspeakers, as in I've got a Roland amp, as in loudspeakers, and the music just comes through normal amplifier, and it's obviously the speakers attached to that. But I like to have it quite loud if I'm playing along. But even the Roland kit, amped up, it's nowhere near as loud as an acoustic drum set. I simply can't have one in this room. It's way too ambient, way too loud. It's just unpleasant in the ears. I've tried. It's just not good. I've got all plasterboard on the walls. It's just, and I could put some dampening up, but to be honest, it would still be way too loud in this tiny space. Okay, and I won't be able to play all the times I do. So, getting back to the pluses, what I've noticed is with this kit is, number one, I can play along to pre-recorded music, and it's about half the volume. Okay, even lower. I can obviously listen to that through headphones, just like I can still on the Roland kit. So it hasn't got to be through the Roland amp, or okay, I can do it mixed in, so no one hears me. It's just from me. Okay, I like doing both. I like playing when it's quiet. Okay, late at night I'll do that, and obviously during the day I'll have it amped up. Okay, but through this I can do, as I said, I can still play via the headphones, and I can still play via the speakers. What I've noticed though is an old trick as to what I used to do when I used to have the luxury of being able to play a live kit many moons ago in an old property I used to live in. And the key to being able to play live is, number one, is isolation. But I had a little studio, and it was quite soundproof, but it was right on top of my neighbours. Okay, so even then, it wasn't a great situation. I could only play a limited period of time each day. But what I used to do, I used to wear the ear defenders, okay, in my ears, because that used to transform my kit and make it sound absolutely like it was studio quality samples. Okay, for some reason it just takes all the harshness off, and you actually can play the kit in a different way. And I found it's the same on this kit. You ain't got to wear ear defenders. You can just stick some headphones. Obviously they can be plugged in. You can be playing along to music if you wish, but you haven't got to do that. If you put these on and play, you hear all the low end, okay, and the drums just behave very differently. Okay, so if I'd have been doing that, if I'd been doing the actual video shoot, or hopefully guys be doing that video shoot, I wouldn't have even gone out and got these. I've seen these around the last several years, okay, but I've always dismissed them because I've got a Roland kit. But in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to be able to play an acoustic kit. Boy, what I'm trying to say to you is, I'm so glad I've got these, because these have changed my perception. Okay, do I recommend silent strokes? Absolutely. Okay, ignore spring, because yes, they are spring. You can see the bounce there, but to be honest, that's actually very high tension, but they're great. Just learn to control the bounce. Yeah, so they're good for the technique. Okay, and to be honest, I think a bit of spring, there's nothing wrong with that. But on these heads, it's not too bad. Not too bad. As you can see there, that's pretty near to conventional kit. I've got this tuned very low. Okay, and I probably will have these tuned as well, much lower. Yet again, the bass drum is tuned very low. So it actually mimics the real thing quite well, I would say. So if you are in a situation where you want to be able to play the kit, if I can only choose one, what will I go for? Well, that's another question, because as I said, the key feature about my Remo kit is, number one, I can play along. It can be loud. I can audition different kits, so I can change sounds and I can record those sounds. So I don't think I'd part with the Roland, but having the best of both worlds. Okay, if you can't afford an electronic kit, just look on eBay, because I picked these up on eBay, these silent strokes, second hand. Okay, so I paid, it was under £30 for 4 heads. Okay, so they're out there, and I've ordered some others for example this drum, an 8-inch I've gone for, and a 14, just so I can put them on different drums. Okay, but they're not particularly expensive, and I think providing you actually play them and treat them with care, they should last you years and years and years. Okay, so would I recommend the actual silent strokes? Absolutely. I think if you're anything like me and you have watched any of these YouTube videos or heard other drummers talk about these, you may be thinking, I'm not sure, I don't want to take the plunge, they may not work. Trust me, they do work, and they actually sound, as you can hear, they sound pretty damn good. Okay, so I hope this has been of some use to you. Okay, go out and definitely, there's no turning back now. I think I've kind of missed the boat, as it were. Okay, I've missed the boat, but better late than never. Okay, so go and get yourself some silent strokes, have some fun, keep practicing. I don't think you'd be annoying anyone with these. Okay, obviously if you live if next door, still, if they're right next door, as in on the other side of the wall, still be a bit considerate. I wouldn't be playing at midnight or anything like that at all. Okay, so consideration, and you shouldn't go on anyone's nerves. And most importantly, you'll be able to practice with a passion your instrument. Okay, enough of me. Go and have some fun. Catch you later on. Bye bye.